So, everybody, good morning. Welcome to our Tara English practice. Hope everybody's well on this fine morning. So, I remember when I first started studying Buddhism, it was very common that Rinpoche himself or Rinpoche would quote his teachers saying that really the four thoughts are the most deep and profound teachings. Especially Rinpoche's teacher, Tulku Ardik. And I remember at the time thinking, oh, this is some kind of a sales pitch, some kind of marketing ploy, so that we really apply deeply the four thoughts, so that we can get to the real stuff, the good stuff. But I did my due diligence, and I contemplated the four thoughts as well as I could. And then I went on and did the rest of the Nundro, and I did some of the other Hatha Yoga retreats. And sure enough, over time, over the years that I've been in Buddhism, I go back to the four thoughts over and over and over again. And the four thoughts sustain me. The four thoughts nourish me. The four thoughts inspire me. The four thoughts help me make sense out of the world, how things work, why things are the way they are. Help me not to attach. Help to keep motivating me on the path. And slowly, in my own very dogged pace, I have come to the same conclusion on my own that Rinpoche tried to tell me from the very beginning, that there really are no other teachings that truly surpass or benefit us more than the four thoughts. And I think some of you that are older practitioners probably have come to the same realization. So those of you that are younger practitioners, take your time when you're contemplating the four thoughts, when you're doing your Nundro. Do a really thorough job. It's usually recommended for 3 to 6 months before you actually start accumulating your Nundro seriously, just to deeply contemplate the four thoughts. Let them really saturate and penetrate every aspect of your being. They are truly transformative. That's why they call them the four thoughts that transform the mind. They are the practice of vipassana, contemplative meditation, analytical meditation, where they help us to see things as things truly are. Vipassana means clear vision, seeing clearly. And that's the essence of the Buddhist path, is just simply seeing things as they are. That's the most amazing thing. We're not inventing something, making something up to pretend that something's a certain way so that we feel better. We're merely seeing exactly and precisely how things are in this world, in this universe, in our minds. And by just seeing things as they actually are, naturally as a byproduct, we start to let go. Let go of what? That's the big question. There's really nothing to let go of. Just empty appearances. There's nothing there you can cling to, because they're empty of an inherent existence. And the four thoughts, specifically the thoughts of impermanence, take us to that deep realization. The contemplation on karma helps us to understand every day when we see the way people act, when we watch horrible stories on the news or inspiring stories on the news, or when we see the dynamic within our families, we see the differences in social classes, we see incredible wealth, and we see terrifying misery, we see babies dying at birth, we see people that live into their hundreds. And if we can penetrate that with the eye of understanding the law of cause and effect, it makes sense of what seems like a crazy world. It makes sense of a world that seems like it doesn't have any justice, that things don't seem fair. But when we really profoundly contemplate karma, we come to the understanding that everything is just, everything is fair. We just don't see the whole story. We see a very, very limited aspect of a vast, complex kaleidoscope. And as we contemplate the preciousness of our human birth, that inspires us and motivates us to do something with our situation that we're in. There's no guarantee that we'll receive another opportunity like this. What are we really here for? Are we just here to kind of blunder through and enjoy sense pleasures and enjoy people praising us and getting upset when people blame us and accumulating large amounts of material possessions and money and fat bank accounts and 2 or 3 houses, more titles and initials before or after our names? Are we here to just engage in pleasures, nice trips, nice meals, that as soon as we've touched those things, they disappear? How many nice meals have we had and we're still hungry? How many nice trips have we gone on and we still want to go on more? Because they don't satisfy us. Because they're empty. They don't have that capacity. And we try everything we can to avoid painful situations, but deep in the back of our minds, we know at some point we're going to face difficulties. Every time we drive by a hospital, we feel a little shiver in our spine. Ooh, someday I might have to go to the hospital. Or we hear the story of somebody in our family that got sick, that's in the hospital, or has to stay home in bed, or somebody that's gotten too old, can't take care of themselves. We feel a little anxiety in the back of our mind. We try to push it away. But deep down inside, we know at some point it's going to be our turn. And at some point, we really can't do anything else about preparing ourselves. It's too late. And as we contemplate the 6 realms of cyclic existence, we see that there's so many ways that we can go. We see the damage that anger does in this world. If we let our mind become more and more angry, we see people that we know that are people that we know that are people that we know people that we know that are angry, that suffer terribly with their anger. They're revolted with everything. Poor Lamia, she's trying to get the dogs under control. She's not having much success this morning. We have an agreement on Saturday mornings. Whoever's leading the practice, the other one tries to take care of the dogs, because otherwise they destroy the practices. So it's her morning to be out there trying to herd the dogs, but it's not going very well. Then we see people that are miserly, how they suffer. They might have all the resources in the world to help others, even to enjoy their own lives, to help their own children, their own grandchildren, and they're too miserly even to buy themselves a new pair of pants or a new pair of shoes. So they have all this apparent wealth, but they live like somebody in poverty. And also look at all these crack neighborhoods that are popping up all around the world. These are people that are desperately trying to fill the emptiness with something that just makes the emptiness more and more painful, that makes them feel more and more necessity to get more and more alcohol or crack or fentanyl or whatever the substance is that they're addicted to. These people are like hungry ghosts. And you can see, like, if you let your mind's desires and you let this feeling of not having enough spiral out of control, that's the result of it. The experience of a hungry ghost. And all the animalistic behavior in the bad sense, because in some ways animals are very pure. They don't hoard more than they can use. They don't kill for fun or torture for enjoyment or kidnap. I don't know, maybe some animals do kidnap, I'm not sure. But in one way they're very pure, but in another way they're tormented by their ignorance. And they're stuck in a cycle of prey and predator that they can't break. So the tendency is they tend towards lower rebirths. And we can see that also in our human realm, people that are animal-like behavior. So we can contemplate and we can see the six realms here. Like, we could be born in Ukraine, we could be born in another war zone, we could be born in a place with extreme poverty. Right now, most of us were born in the situations where we're very fortunate, but that fortunate situation can make us a little complacent. The big word these days is privilege. You're privileged. The truth is, all of us that are in this human realm are very privileged. We could call it the human realm privilege. Anybody born in this realm, we have incredible opportunities because we're able to understand, we're able to learn, we're able to meditate, we're able to contemplate. So we have to take advantage of this privilege of being born as a human being. It's an unbelievable privilege. It's very, very rare. In the sutras, the Buddha said it's as rare as a turtle that comes to the surface to breathe once every 100 years in the ocean. And there happens to be a boy floating in the ocean, that the chances of the turtle, his head going through the center of that boy, is the same as getting a human birth. So take the four thoughts to heart, contemplate them deeply, not just when you sit down to read or do your practice, all day long. Think to yourself, this is impermanent. This is going to pass. I'm so fortunate, privileged to have a human rebirth. How come this happened? Oh, because of karma. Even though it appears not to be fair, on some level, nothing can happen without a previous cause. There was a previous cause to this, I just can't see it. Then the next step is you can imagine what it might be. Somebody dies before their time. They took other lives. Somebody's going through financial difficulties. They were probably tricky with their financial dealings, or didn't accumulate merit when they had the chance, when they had prosperity. So we can use our understanding and really start to make sense of the world, why things happen. Even natural disasters, climate change. The Buddha said, the outer environment is a reflection of our inner environment. As the inner environment degenerates, the outer environment degenerates.